Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to share this one with you. This is one of my favorite exercises ever, and I've used it in a bunch of different ways, from counseling and coaching students to trying to figure out specifically what I want to put in my Christmas card for one of my family members, to how we're going to use it today, which is like helping you figure out what is it that you want more of in your life. And it's pretty simple. To do it, you're going to need two things. One, something to write with. So if you are a tactile person and you like to write, get something to write with and somewhere to write. You can type if you want. But the second thing you'll need is the values exercise. I also call it the values menu, linked below this video. So get those two things, pause the video if you need to, and here's step one. So step one, and it takes about a minute to do it, I want you to look at this values exercise, and I want you to pick 10 qualities or values that you already possess, or ways that you already are. So maybe you look at the values exercise and you're scanning it and you're like, ooh, creativity, that's something that I already have in my life, and you type creativity. Or if you've printed out the values exercise, you can circle it. Or maybe you look at it and you're like, what about something like, oh, laughter, I love to laugh. So boom, you write that down. So I'm gonna set a minute timer, we'll put a timer here, and I'm actually gonna do this with you. I want you to pick 10 values that you already have, and then I'll tell you what to do next. Ready, set, go. All right, time's up on this. If you need more time, just pause the video and finish finding your 10. Assuming you've done that, it can be kind of fun to whittle it down to like a top 3. So for example, if I was to do this, I would take the 10 that I've written down, and my top 3 for today, qualities that I feel like I already have, would be things like collaboration. I get to work with a lot of cool people that I love. So I would put collaboration. I would say another thing that I have is flexibility. I'm grateful for that. It hasn't always been true. And then another one is fun. I'm like playing games with my friends in a couple hours. So that's one that is present for me. So if you feel like it, I'd love to hear what are your top 3. If you want to put it in the comments, that helps the YouTube algorithm. But also because I read all the comments, I'd love to just see what are 3 things that you have already. So that's step 1. Okay, so we've started from where we are, things that we're grateful for. Step 2 is I want you to see if you can come up with 5 values that you would like to have more of in your life. Or as we sometimes like to say, what are you calling in? These are your aspirational values. So as I look at the list of values now and I think about, okay, what do I want to have more of? One of the ones that comes to mind is community. Because even though I have community, I feel like I'm not connecting with them as regularly as I could. So I would write down community as one of my 5 aspirational values. So we're gonna set another minute timer. Have the timer here. I'm gonna do this with you too. And I want you to see if you can come up with 5 different values that you're calling in. What are some things you want more of in your life? All right, minute timer goes now. time's up for now. Again, pause if you need to. All right, so hopefully you've got 5 things that you're wanting more of in your life. The thing that I put is I actually been thinking a lot about patience lately. So I'm pretty good at being productive and moving fast. I think I could use more patience. So that's what I would put as my number 1. If you feel like sharing your number 1 and marking it aspirational value or AV, share it in the comments. I'd love to see it next to the 3 qualities that you feel like you have the most of. So now that you've done that, step 3 is where you start to get practical and visual. Now, what do I mean by this? I want you to think about, for each one of these values that you've written down, what's one specific way that you could bring that quality or that value more into your life? So for example, the first one I wrote down was community. So what's a specific way that I could bring more community into my life? Well, I have friends nearby, like in my world here. I feel like one of the things I could do is I could invite them over for a potluck dinner. So I'm gonna write down potluck dinner next to community, with a question mark, because I don't know when I'm gonna schedule it yet. All right, your turn. So for each of your aspirational values, which is to say each of these things that you wanna bring more of into your life, I want you to come up with something that is specific and ideally visual, which is to say something that a camera could see about how you would bring each of those values into your life. Minute timer, here we go, go for it. Time's up. So if you watched this far, kudos, you're on your way already. Your brain is already starting to do stuff. But in terms of next steps, one of the things you could do to raise the likelihood that you actually do these things is to just pick one of the things from your list and make it actionable. In other words, put it on your calendar or put it in your to-do list, or maybe text or email a friend and say, hey, I'm planning to do this thing this week. Will you check in with me in a week to see if I've actually done it? Below this video, I'll put some other videos on how do you actually set better goals and plans to make sure things actually happen. And I'll put some stuff on habits. Thanks again for watching. If this was useful, hit me up with a like or a subscribe. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and have an awesome week.